Yo, wait a second. Maintenance is how long? Yo, what is going on, my fellow weebs? Corner here, and welcome back to the channel. So it's the day before the headline, and it has come to my attention, or at least it was brought to my attention, that tomorrow's maintenance is a little weird comparatively to the usual maintenances. You saw the intro, and I'll pop over to it again really quick here. So normally you see a maintenance, and well, actually, like I say, you see the maintenance article go up, and it'll show all the maintenances that are like currently going, and then like the next ones that are coming up too. So usually the ones for the entire month, more or less, or at least, you know, within a 3-week period, a 3 maintenance cycle period. You see here on the 16th, it was 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Pretty standard. Usually the earliest these tend to go is around 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Of course, daylight savings, all that crap kind of messes with timing and things like that. But you guys get the idea, right? This is an EDT, of course. But you know, 10 to 4 is pretty standard. Now, we do have a headline scheduled for tomorrow. And with that, I mentioned during the last update video that, you know, with headlines, usually right afterwards, we'll find out what's going to be coming out basically right afterwards, right? Like it's for the next day almost, essentially. They tend to like jump a little bit of hype, get people online, and things like it's all like a little strategy, but it is what it is. We're pretty used to that whole process right now, so you know, most of us are expecting it. What I didn't realize, nor did I notice, was that this maintenance we have scheduled for tomorrow is at 11 a.m. If my math is right, I believe that's like a 17-hour maintenance. Yeah, about 17 hours of a maintenance. I don't know why. I mean, to be honest, they could be just putting something in the game like for later. We do have the story patch right around the corner. And some people are like, oh, copium, you know, something crazy happening, relax. Well, it's nothing. Listen, I get people that like have seen my I'm done video and they have like, I quit playing the game a year ago, dude, you should just give up, blah, 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 blah. It's like some people haven't even seen or actually watched the video. It's pretty funny because they think I'm talking about the game when I'm actually talking about people's reactions to things, but that's besides the point. Regardless, this is just, it's unprecedented. I want to call attention to it mostly because, one, I wanted to make a video talking about like, you know, thought processes, expectations, or what we might be seeing tomorrow, because we do have fun stuff here. We have not only, of course, some videos to go along with the version 2 updates. They've also been really good about explaining what's coming up in the future, giving us reasonable heads up for things that might affect, you know, monetary things, so on and so forth. So it's actually been really, really nice from that aspect of things. Of course, the Ruins update was really, really good. So we want to see more updates similar to that, things of that sort. But we also were promised the second half of the roadmap. They mentioned second half of the roadmap the roadmap for the second half of 2026 and beyond. So we're supposed to be seeing what's coming up. Now, keep in mind, it's something that's new for them, but they mentioned specifically every 4 months is going to be story content. Every 2 months, challenging content. So to keep with that cycle, we should be seeing something difficult or new piece of story content coming up, or some new piece of story content coming up next month. All a new piece of difficult content coming up within that month or so, roughly. So every 2 months to every 4 months, just keep that cycle going. There's no like, as people are like, oh, when do we get a new story? When do we get a new story? There's literally no guesswork in this situation. We know exactly when it's happening. They've quite literally given us the cycle of when it's happening. That's not enough for you. Understandable. So be it. It's just one of those situations I want to make sure we're on the same page about. So you don't have to even worry about that sort of process. We already know what's on the horizon, what's coming, right? So this is going to be streamed at 5 a.m. So 8 a.m. Eastern. We will be live for it, obviously. I just want to talk a little bit about, like, you know, our thoughts, what we could expect, what you'd want to see, so on and so forth. And just like, and call a little attention. This is actually, it's very unprecedented. This is very strange to me. We have a 17-hour maintenance. Like I said, it could mean that what we see tomorrow is just ridiculous and there's something that's coming to the game that we didn't expect. Granted, that is some high level copium that I'm sure everyone's going to love to jump about in the comments below, blah, 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 copium, blah, 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 this, and but sometimes it's fun to speculate. It's a good time. Let people enjoy themselves. And if that's not you, dude, then just, you know, be that person on your own. It's okay to keep your expectations in check. That way you never get disappointed. But some people like to hope for things. They like to have a little whimsy in their lives. Let them enjoy that. I'm somewhere in the middle of that process. I like to think that there's the possibility, but understand the reality of the situation all together. So it's part of what keeps you grounded as a creator. But regardless, and keeps you from being jaded. But regardless, that's besides the point. So we've got the second half of the roadmap. Actually, I should have pulled up the roadmap because yeah, I'm totally prepared. You know, I'll show you guys how to find it. You go to the website, you go over here to overview, you can go here to roadmap, right click, open up another tab, we're good to go. Here's the roadmap that we have right now. So you have February all the way to October. As far as where we are right now, we're in this section here. We've got our boss that came back. We know for a fact this boss is coming back. We already know who that is. If we don't, spoilers. And then we have another boss here. We got new tech arts customizations. We already know the tech arts customizations were split between here and here. So we probably get the rest of the tech arts customizations. New rarity equipment, likely going to be the upgrades for our armors. New enemies, new item system. We don't know what this is. We have no idea what this is supposed to be. EX style level cap raise and new enemies. So this is what we have here. That's to be scheduled for August to September. Likely we'll see the EX style cap raise first. That's what I'm guessing is going to be for Wednesday. So we'll have to grind out leveling EX styles. That'll be pretty fun to do. Get that taken care of. A new story quest is scheduled for August. I'd be surprised if it's exactly next week. Or in a couple of days. I don't think they're doing it at the very beginning of August. I think maybe it's like middle of August, if anything. I'll be pleasantly surprised. If it is at the beginning of the month, I'll be pleasantly surprised, and that's pretty cool. It is in, of course, the August-September time frame. We expected it to be in August, so that's the 4-month cycle roughly. If it starts falling out of that, then of course we can bring that to the attention, but that's not the case at the moment. Limited time quest, limited time urgent quest. Mostly at this point, we kind of don't care. I'm gonna be real with you. After they did ruins as well as they did, I kind of don't look forward to any LTQ at all. That's pulling me away from ruins. I want more content similar to that because it gets you there and it gets you doing something. What I like about ruins is I have not seen any level 100 grand illusions anywhere else. So it gave ruins something unique for you to continue to come back to. Granted, it's not as good as it could be, but it's something that's unique that you continue to come back to. And I think that is what's going to make that piece of content feel really good. But again, besides the point, we have new scratch ticket. I see that you kind of had the idea, right? Like we see the roadmap itself. We know past October going into December, probably beginning of the year. They'll probably have something up to like May is my guess of next year as far as what we're going to be seeing for NGS. Now, thoughts on what we should be seeing, what we will be seeing, so on and so forth. I think they're going to show like, more difficult content on the horizon, of course, that's going to fit into there. More stories likely going to be on there in a 6-month cycle, of course. Or a 4-month cycle, of course. Very, very straightforward. Probably going to see like, I think, probably December, January. I would say probably January is what we're looking at for the next piece of story content after this piece of story content. Maybe December, just depends on how they release this one. But as far as like what we see, what we know, what could be going on, let's be real. A 17-hour maintenance could just be time circumstance situation. Like, hey, there's some stuff going on that needs to take a longer maintenance. They never really mention anything. If they're going to mention anything, it's going to be during the headline tomorrow. So that's when we'll find out about it. If there is anything to mention in the first place, if we don't hear anything there, likely it's nothing that we really need to worry about. It's probably just going to be a situation where they're putting other content into the game's framework for them to release later. It's a very common thing that does happen. So that's something I wanted to talk about as well, because some people don't really know that. There are times where patches are put into the game earlier than, of course, they go live at the scheduled time, meaning they're already in the game. They just make them go live at the time they're supposed to. And of course, any changes they need to make, they can go ahead and make those changes at that point in time. Why they do this? Because they don't do maintenance as often as they used to in the past, which is a good and a bad thing depending upon your perspective. For old school NGS players, old school Phantasy Star players, it's a bad thing because since the days of PSU, if there aren't weekly resets for the servers, they tend to go to crap. So that carried all the way into NGS, to be perfectly honest, which is a little sad, but the hamster's doing the best he can on the wheel that's keeping the server together. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. There's not a whole lot here to kind of dissect. We have EX style level cap raising. We know there's 2 new skills per EX style. One of them is probably just going to be a stat, is my guess. There's going to be probably one new unique actual like skill per style. I think we're hitting a point where I want to see new EX styles. The cool thing to see in the roadmap for the second half of 2026 and then beyond would be new EX style coming. Because the EX styles are the answers to them making new classes without making new classes. For those who weren't around for this time frame, of course, not everyone was here for this conversation, but their concern, or they had a concern of making new classes previously, which came up with the Scion classes, which Scion classes were more or less kind of like the testing framework of them working on NGS eventually. And the reason we don't see things like the Scion classes were the original classes that released with the game tend to get replaced. And they're trying to, I don't want to say avoid that, but they don't want people to feel like they have to play these new classes and they can't enjoy the classes that they have. So they're not trying to replace those classes themselves, which is the answer to that became, of course, EX styles. Essentially, you can have, you know, different ways of interacting with your class, so on and so forth. Now, call it hopium, whatever you want to go for, but I'm hoping that we see new EX styles fairly soon. It's not that I hate the ones we currently have, it's that I feel like they have kind of, they're stable, right? They're here, they're in the meta, they're in the mix. I would like to see something new, something interesting, something different. Some classes just don't really gel with any EX style, and they're using just whatever's going to net them the most damage, which in most cases is address. So fingers crossed we do see something like that. Now, if we want to go super far into like craziness, the addition of another Splinter realm would be really cool with a different gimmick, or, you know, something that pulls you into that realm itself. If they were to do something like super crazy, what I'll be looking for, because we're on the so something to note that I don't think a lot of people realize is we're on the precipice of a new style of content. I don't say style of content, but a new shift in direction for Phantasy Star. And one thing that not everyone understands, and everyone is here for, I mean, some old PSO2 players will probably know this as well, is that PSO takes a long time to do things. It always has. I know we have some very fond memories of base PSO2, but it took them like a solid 7 years, honestly maybe 6 years, to really get to that really good stuff. Before that, it was a lot of dragging, a lot of doom and gloom. I said dragging, but like dragging ourselves through content, through exploration circles and things of that sort. I would say those who were doing things like time attacks were having a good time because that's the type of content they enjoyed doing, speedrun content, those sort of things. But if you really weren't into that, and then you didn't really get into Endless in episode 5, which Endless in episode 5 was some of their best content they've ever released. But in episode 5, if you didn't really get into Endless, you really didn't have a whole lot of anything that you really felt great about until like episode 6. Episode 6 was like the penultimate PSO2 experience. Had pretty much everything that you could have wanted between classes, between types of content to do, triggers for global mostly. I mean, eventually, you know, there were triggers that existed for the JP side as well, but you know, all those things existed. So that's all to say that they're a bit slow about that process. And they're starting to ramp up things that we have asked for a while and we want to see more of. Things like the better version of certain areas. Things like, you know, stabilizing out the upgrade paths and things. It's not perfect. Again, there's still some things that are pain points, like Meseta, costs of certain upgrades and things like that. But like access to capsules, access to things that you need, options and alternative options for things like a Bandak and all those sorts of things without having to spend out of pocket. All of these things are slowly creeping into the game one by one, being brought in and being done actually very well when they finally get here. The question is, like, is it soon enough? Like, will we get it to soon enough point? For most of us who enjoy Phantasy Star, yeah, we'll get it and we'll have a good time, which is why I've always been against the whole, everyone's like, you know, let it die, bring the next one, so on and so forth. No, because we'll start the cycle over again. It's not just Sega, honestly. Like, I would love for this to be the case for anyone who's ever played live service, played MMOs, gone to the next game. You've always prayed that, hey, the next game is gonna have everything the first game had, but then more. And it almost never is the case. Like, it very rarely is the case. And I mean, like, in every single situation, even in cases where games are being like up-resed, up-textured, and ported over, is it just the previous version but better? It usually requires some time to catch up to what that was, and then it supersedes it and goes past it. We're on the precipice of them actually kind of doing those things that we really want them to do. So I'm interested to see if it actually takes. Like, can they continue that sort of trend? Can we see EX styles that, you know, are going to be really good? What is this new item system that we have really no, like, there's nothing left that we can even think of, right? Like in the past, when they're saying new item systems are coming along, we're like, oh, well, rings are a thing that could bring from base, you know, those sort of things. We've got them now. Rings exist. And granted, in base, you were able to attach your rings to your units, so that's something that could also exist as well. When they say a new item system, I don't think they're talking about rings anymore, like left and right rings. I think that'd be a little silly. So what else is there? What's left? What could we see on the horizon being added into the game? And why do we have a 17-hour patch, or a 17-hour maintenance for a patch that we don't fully know yet? That's interesting. It could just be the story patch, right? Like it could be story patch, EX style level cap raise, new enemies, and then like they just pad out the last half of what we've got left. Like basically the last half, the first 2 weeks of August is gonna be like crazy, and then like the last half of August, and then all of September is gonna be like just Lamau limited time quests. Like that could very well be the case. And if it is, then yeah, you know, Lamau video or Lamau limited time quests. But if it's not, yeah. If there's anything you guys think, let me know in the comments below what you guys would like to see, and be original. Don't be one of those guys that's just like, more content. If they just did what this game did, or if they did what this game did to be better. Like really dive into it. Are we talking about like the gas system from PSU coming back, like absolutely changing a bunch of things? Are we talking about like a real endless from base PSO2, like coming back and utilizing all of the different types of bosses and boss patterns and difficulties and backgrounds that they have available to us in the VR space and all that stuff? Are we talking like full-blown Final Fantasy 14 style, where they have like a new currency that's added into the game and daily systems, not daily systems, but like a queued system where you're able to queue into specific pieces of content with different, like that's sort of, I'm not saying that's the thing that I'm expecting, because some of that's kind of ridiculous, but those are the types of things that like this would be cool. That's the sort of things I'm saying, like something interesting, not the usual. Well, if we just had more content. Don't be that guy. Be better than that guy. I know you guys are better than that guy. I'm yapping. The video's longer than it should be, but hey, you know what? You know what you signed up for, you know what you subscribed to. Either way, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to keep up with more, and you haven't already. If I say the word subscribe, the little light lights up, right? Like that happened at the bottom. Did that work? But yeah, thank you to the channel members as well as Patreon members. You guys are fantastic, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, my friends. Peace out. Hey, quick editing me. Zoom in on the thing that says messages with the AI icon are AI generated to scare the people who have no idea that this is literally just a system that was added into the game for you to be able to talk to your mag. Quick. They're going to think it's Gen AI. They think it's Gen AI, like, oh my God, Gen AI stuff. Oh, the game's going to hell.